5D Mystery School.
Welcome back to 5D Mystery School. Let's get into it. So, the topic of today's class is going to be carbon. Now, the reason why I started off with that specific clip is because there is this connection between graphene oxide and carbon. Now, there are several different films like this film, Prometheus, where they have this carbon based substance that is connected to these intelligent beings like Prometheus. If you know the story of Prometheus, then you can see why this film holds such significance, especially being in this film, they show Saturn, Kronos. All right. Also in this film, Venom, now they called this intelligent substance a symbiote, and Venom could latch on to any human. And why was that? It would had to be, like when you go to London, you can't take an American plug and you just stick it in their plug. Um, you have to get a converter. So now I with this film, it looks like he can latch on to anybody, but what I'm saying is like you would have to have a person would have to have the right type of plug for you to latch on to them. Because not I don't believe everybody has like a dense um form of carbon within their body, and I'll get to that later. Um Okay, so you can see here, yet they had it in Prometheus connected to the creators, and this film Venom, they had it, where it was connected to, spoiler alert, in the latest film Venom, it was connected to like this alternate dimension, where they can come through portals from like it looks like it was like the underworld. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it for too much for people who haven't seen it, but it looks like these creatures come from the underworld and they are hunters of Venom. um I said I wasn't going to spoil it, and here I go. But what I'm trying to get to here is that this liquid, it can transverse through different dimensions. Okay, so that's what I want you to take away from this film. All right, so moving on to the next one. Now, I want you to pay attention on the way this substance, this graphene oxide, reacts to the radio frequencies that are being emitted from this cellular device.
Такая вот непонятная хреновина. Интересно, в голове у нас то же самое творится.
Cell phone, the cell phone company AT&T used to have a bell as their logo. And going back to the film Venom, in the film, whenever they heard the bell ring, what happened? Right? Why did they get rid of all of the bells? I believe it was during World War. II before, or it was pre or post World War II? It's the sound frequency. It is the energetic frequency, the waves that disrupts the um, their vibration, and it's like harmful. It's like intruders to this dimension in a way. All right, so graphene oxide from Science Direct. Graphene oxide is a carbon based nanomaterial obtained by the chemical oxidation of natural graphite or carbon nanofibers. It is an important precursor of graphene and has oxygen functional groups that can be reduced to obtain a modified form called reduced graphene oxide. Oh. Graphene oxide and reduced graphene oxide have various applications in fields such as electronics, photonics, and biomedicine. Keep that in mind as we move along. From Biology Dictionary, pineal gland. The pineal gland is a gland of the endocrine system responsible for releasing melatonin, a hormone which influences our sleep and wake cycles. Light hitting the eyes stimulates nerves which activate or repress the pineal gland. The gland is also called the pineal body. Okay, so melatonin is carbon based. Okay. Now I want you to think about what I just said. Melatonin is carbon based. Okay, now that has sank in. Let's move along. Historically, the pineal gland was called the third eye because it was once believed that the pineal gland allowed you to see into different planes of existence. Modern conspiracies claim that fluoride in the water stops pineal gland function. Well, people are allowed to have their different beliefs and coexist. These claims has never been backed by actual or by backed by modern science. Not that you need the certification of science to make anything truth. Science and truth are not synonymous in any way, shape, or form. Um, so anyway, the last thing, the pineal gland has a primary role in controlling sleep cycles by secreting melatonin. Okay. And for all of the people that maybe this is the first time on my page and you're like, you like to see something that you use in your daily resources so that it can solidify in your mind in a way. I have brought up this Google search and it's an AI view. This is something I like to do in my lectures just to make people at ease. And I don't want it to be as though everything is just like flying from my head and based off of like my fact and nothing. So what artificial intelligence does is that it's pretty much gives you a summary of everything that it has pulled from the internet since the conception of the internet, to give you like an actual answer based off of the best information that it has accessible to it until it gets even better. um, okay, so with that being said, yes, melatonin is carbon based. It is a molecule composed primarily of carbon atoms along with hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen, making it an organic compound produced naturally within the body. Okay, so melatonin is carbon based and carbon is naturally produced in the body. Taken aback, graphene is a single layer of carbon atoms arranged in a hexagonal lattice. Okay. Carbon-based living organisms emit infrared radiation known as heat. I'm not reading that, I'm just saying. All right, moving along. Now, I want you to think of the pineal gland and how it releases not only melatonin but dimethyltryptamine, and how this concoction induces you to have dreams. And throughout the day, your pineal gland also slow drips dimethyltryptamine, which gives you your reality. Some could say. Some could say. So imagination is based off of this carbon um, concoction. Did you know that there is more carbon um, present in our reality than it is water? More carbon than water. So our reality is also based in this same substance. Cannabis leaves carbon residue. Cannabis receptors are more abundant than any other receptor system in the body. Cannabinoids are carbon based. Cellulose is carbon based. Magic mushrooms are carbon based. We get high on carbon. Melanin is carbon based. We're carbanoids. Better yet, carbon is the key to parallel realities, one would say, alternate dimensions and altered states of consciousness. So, looking at magic, magic is art of influencing or predicting events and producing marvels using hidden natural forces. Also, supernatural art, especially the art of controlling the actions of spiritual or human beings. Optical illusion. Imagination, faculty of the mind which forms and manipulates images. Think about that. Think about that. Your mind, when you have a thought, now I know this doesn't happen for everybody because not everybody has inner narratives. So, but for the people this resonates with, when you have a thought in your mind, you can literally play back a moment in your life, like a memory as a film, as a moment in your mind, like a projector in the image of your, in the screen of your mind. Even the word image is imagination. You imagine this in your mind. When you manifest, you are imagining something to happen and then you hold it in your mind until it is projected not only on the screen of your mind, but in the screen of your exterior and your immediate peripheral. So imagination is making the magic happen in front of you. Those two words are connected. Magi, and magic. So manifestation is magic. But to be able to hold a photo in your mind, and now they're saying that our consciousness comes from another reality. Popular mechanics. Popular mechanics. Human consciousness comes from a higher dimension, scientist claims. when we think creatively or have eureka moments, we may actually unlock access to a dimension outside of our everyday perception, according to the controversial theory. Okay. Oh, they're not going to let me read it unless I'm a member. So, okay, I'll get my source somewhere else. Much love, MSN. Um, Sciences says human consciousness comes from another dimension. A baffling new theory to explain human consciousness has suggested it comes from hidden dimensions and it's not just brain activity. Okay, so think about that. Your pineal gland, the seat of the soul, is now electromagnetic waves are generated and received by carbon based materials, right? And this can include like cell phones, this can include um, like composites. And that goes back to imagination, the fact that you can FaceTime somebody on the other side of the world is a form of magic. Anyway, um, let me see. A physicist claimed that we plug into these invisible planes of the universe when making art, practicing science, pondering philosophy, or dreaming. And this could explain the phenomenon that has evaded scientific understanding for centuries. Something else I want to add here. Revelation 13:18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. Count the number of the beast. You know, sometimes people hear certain things in like Bible scriptures and they take it literally, but you should never take the Bible literally. It is filled with allegories. It's metaphorical. It's a astrological book. It's like a whodunit type of thing. It's a thriller. Side note, sometimes I think life is just one big game it's like a mental game, figuring out who can figure out the exit puzzle. Maybe out of 2 billion get it, you know, F- figures out how to leave the game. Anyway, um, count the number of the beast. For it is the number of a man, and his number is 600, three score, and six. Beast. The word was used in Middle English to translate Latin animal. It is displaced Old English as the generic for wild creature. Creature is anything created, hence a thing in general, animate or not, but most commonly a living being, created being, all creation, creature. So a beast it's like a wild being, anything created. Wild, uncultivated, untamed, undomesticated, uncontrolled. Carbon, yes, a carbon atom has 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons. This is because the atomic number of carbon is 6, which means it has 6 protons in its nucleus. Humans are primarily composed of carbon 12. Humans are primarily composed of carbon 12. For it is the number of a man, and his number is 600. Man, come on. Carbon 12. You know, like, think about the number 12, 12 cranial nerves, 12 disciples, 12 planets, 12 months, 12 zodiac signs. Santa, 12 reindeer, Santa going down the chimney, Santa Claus, the claustrum going down the chimney. Come on, man. The claustrum, the 12 cranial nerves, carbon 12. That's why you see a 12 houses on the zodiac sign. It's all related. I don't want to go too deep in that. So I'm trying to keep this video short. So let's continue. Okay. Now I'm not gonna say what this is. There are hot words that likes to get videos banned on the YouTuber. So certain devices like this high C device, um, they can receive these electromagnetic waves. Our thoughts are electromagnetic waves. Our thoughts are received by the pineal gland, the brain, right? From apparently another dimension. So imagine if you have um, a reality that's composed of carbon, this carbon concoction that's happening in your pineal gland. You have these intelligent beings that are resisting sound frequencies that are carbon based, that in a way, intuitively, they're like dimension hijackers. The body is composed of 18%, roughly 18% of carbon, the human body's mass, right? And you can call graphene oxide, or at least the way it's been manipulated, like the artificial form of like what the pineal gland does. But what I want to get to here, back to imagination. So a hallucination is what you can call like when you have these thought, like some people are able to have like like very lucid thoughts, like not only have lucid dreams but like lucid thoughts, and if like get lost in your thoughts and daydream in a way that um let's say your pineal gland probably has like a V8 in it versus like a V6 or something, to put in layman's terms. um so now to finish this thought, so the pineal gland is just bring it back up here. It's the seat of the soul here. All right. And this is where you have the return. It's the optic thalamus. It's the light of the world. It's the return of the Christ consciousness. right? Cerebral spinal fluid. So it's needless to say, a lot of action happens here in your pineal gland. And so when you're able to manifest something and literally bring it into your reality, that is like a command from another dimension in a way, sending you a signal because thoughts, ideas are signals, like radio signals. Like when you call somebody or the next tail chirp, like beep, beep, you're sending them a chirp, sending them a signal. Thoughts are electromagnetic waves. Phones send and receive electromagnetic waves. So thoughts and phones in the same way are the same, like phone calls, pineal glands and cell phones. And it was saying like they're identical in a way. They can send and receive electromagnetic waves. So if your thoughts are being stream of consciousness from another dimension, then in the same way, when you play The Sims, when you play this game, The Sims, and you send them a command and they build their world in their mind, especially now that these Sims are getting artificial intelligence and they're going to be able to think and live autonomously if they don't do that already. When you step away from your computer, they're going to be living with their families and looking at their reality that they think in their head that they built, but really it was just a keystroke on your computer that you sent to them. In their head, it was a thought of, let me build this house now, right? But their thoughts are being streamed from another dimension in the same way that our thoughts are being streamed from another dimension. So let that sit for a minute. If they're living in the matrix, what makes you think that you're not living in the matrix? Reducing your carbon footprint, boy. Photosynthesis. So I'll repeat what I said earlier. Carbon is the key to parallel realities, alternate dimensions, alternate states of consciousness. Hmm. All right, let that marinate. Now, I'm not going to get too deep in parasites because I did a whole lecture on that, but let me just connect something. Parasites play a significant role in carbon cycle by consuming their host carbon, impacting the amount of carbon available in an ecosystem and contributing to carbon export through the process of the host ices bursting, which releases organic matter back into the environment. So, parasites. Okay. Um, you know what I said in my other video about parasites, but let's just say that um, they can host your body in a way to make you act other than um, possession, carbon, um, consuming up your available carbon that you have in your body, which your body is composed of 18% carbon. From Climate Central, Solution Series, Capturing Carbon in Soil. Key concepts. A key climate solution lies under our feet in soils. Soils naturally remove carbon dioxide from the air and store that carbon underground. Now, think about that for a second. What else is stored underneath soil? Your food. Carbon plays a vital role in the growth of produce. Not only food, but when you go to drink pop, what is another word for pop? Carbonated beverage. Boy, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And let me add another layer. Computer chips from nanotubes. If our reality is mostly carbon and carbon computer chip, let me I don't think we got enough time for that right now. Y'all didn't come for class that'd be a 4 hour class, ladies and gentlemen. Um, so artificial intelligence, binary code embedded in our reality. Our reality is mostly carbon, computer based, computer chips, or carbon based computer chips, rather. Carbon nanotubes, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide. Data storage is connected to what? Carbon. Data storage. You know how much data you would need, how much storage you would need to run a simulation this size. Anyway, like I said, we didn't come to class for that today. All right, so just class, let me just leave you with one thing today before we adjourn today's class. I want you to think about this really when you get some time. Maybe replace 10 minutes of screen time with meditation, homework. All right, so when you rest at night, when you go to sleep, the sun leaves your area. Y'all know y'all heard me say this again, but let me put this record right back on vinyl. It's a classic. The sun leaves your area. It gets dark. Your pineal gland knows this. It knows exactly when to start to secrete more melatonin. Your body starts to get colder. The coldness induces a sleepy light state. Your eyes get heavy, persuading you to go to sleep. You hit the bed. Your body knows when to start to fast pour that dimethyltryptamine. When you get to a stage that it's time to take you into another dimension, which the pineal gland does, it secretes this concoction, which puts you into another dimension, literally called the astral realm. You're there for a third of your life when you go to sleep, half the time in there, half the time in the waking life. So in that whole other dimension, whatever happens to you, it happens to you, right? It's magic, some would say. It's like in your imagination on steroids. It's the subconscious mind, auto drive, autopilot. So you get back on when the sun comes into your area, the sun rays hit your eyes, ultraviolet rays hit your eyes, right? It's all controlled by the electromagnetic spectrum. It's like a timer. And then the pineal gland knows when to stop the fast pour of melatonin, when to stop the fast pour of the um, dimethyltryptamine. You rise up, you're back on this side of the waking life, still being controlled by carbon. But all when you, like I said earlier, when you on this side of the waking life, when you use your imagination to bring up an image, literally, how does your brain do that? It brings up a photo in your mind of something, right? Um, and you're able to see something that can happen in the future, clairvoyant, like an image of something that has not even taken place yet. How does that happen? You can see images of the past, like an intimate moment that you had with somebody. You can replay that moment like a film in your mind, and then your body reacts to the moment as though it is happening right now. That is magic. You can smell the scent of an ex or a past loved one out of nowhere. all being controlled by your mind. Mind over matter, right? That's exactly what it is. Mind over carbon-based matter. The micro reflecting the macro. Even your body emits infrared radiation. Cells produce electricity. We are electric beings powered by a certain type of energy, right? So one last thing I want to leave you with. I don't want you to have an existential life crisis or anything. Now, when you put on a VR headset, when you play a video game, you have first person view where if you put on that headset, you look down, you got your your right hand, your left hand, maybe some arms. You can never see your face. You can never see your neck unless you got like a tall neck. You can see your feet, you can see your stomach, right? You can see all the basic equipment. But you can never see your face unless you have a reflective surface. Now, it's the same as is in real life, and you can call it, art imitating life, or you can call it, if our consciousness is streamed from another dimension, then what does that say about what does that say about our reality if our consciousness is not even here? If I'm in Detroit, I can stream a program from Sweden. I'm not there though, boy. If they're telling you our consciousness is being streamed from another dimension, the consciousness is not here in this dimension. The very foundation of this dimension is carbon, which is a great, it goes like hand in hand with computing and the energy that's needed for simulations. Not saying, not that's not what this video is for. I'm just trying to base it on carbon and let your imagination do the rest. But just think about this first person view and how it's so connected to video games, and how pretty soon when you do put on a headset, it is going to be indistinguishable from life. And if that is the simulation that you're in when you put on the VR headset, if it's solely made from components that are carbon based, that concludes today's class. Now be sure, if you showed up today, make sure that you like, share, and follow, help me out with the algorithm. Don't forget to do your homework to replace 10 minutes of screen time with meditation, and I will see you in the next class. Much love. Peace out.
5D Mystery School.